People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back into another edition of the Deluded podcast, the DG podcast, the Really and Truly podcast. As usual, I'm very thankful for your support. I'm very thankful for your consistent support. Shout out to, everyone supporting on YouTube, everyone who started to migrate towards Twitch, big up to everyone that who's been in all my Twitch content and everyone that was part of my Football Manager Twitch stream as well. So, yeah, man, a lot of my watch-alongs, a lot of my content, a lot of new content will be housed on Twitch. Make sure you're following me on that Deluded Gooner 04 because it's going to happen quicker than you thought. I know a lot of you with eagle eyes already seeing it develop. So yeah, like I said, shout out to the YouTube gang. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and them things. Shout out to the Twitch gang. Make sure you're following. DG podcast is also on Apple Music and Spotify. Make sure if you've got that, you're hitting that up, people. Every little helps, man. Every mickle makes a muckle and them things. And on that, obviously, shout out to Jamaica, Independence Day and them things there. There's a lot of things wrong with the country, but there's a lot of things right with the country. We're wavy, tiny country, massive worldwide impact and them things. So big up to all the JA tugs, them, and the girlies and all them things you lot enjoy today, innit? But yeah, man, obviously, we ain't got much to speak about, but what we do have to speak about, there's been a few bombshells in the last 24 hours, We'll get on to Jack Grealish and Man City. I'm not trying to shaft him off, but there's only a certain sort of player that when an English record is broken for 100 million can make that old news, irrelevant news, make that nothing but a small headline on a newspaper. I'm sure you've all seen Lionel Messi, as things stand, will not be staying at Barcelona. I say as things stand because a part of me cannot believe it. A part of me still believes that there is a chance he could sign a deal because he anticipated signing a new deal and because clearly, when you look at it, the La Liga chairman, Tabas, or whatever his name is, his plan acts sanctions in wages for teams and curbing wage structures and stuff like that. It has worked because you've seen less Spanish teams go bankrupt, but you've lost your player, your most marketable player. And Barcelona are going to be crying for many things if this happens, innit? Because they've lost Lionel Messi. I don't need to tell you about his sporting. We don't need to sit here and talk about his sporting ability. It's a joke. He's the best playmaker, best striker, best everything. His right foot is better than certain man's stronger foot. Messi is a legend. So we know they're missing a good. To call him a great footballer is an understatement. They're losing the best player ever at a time where Barcelona couldn't be worse in terms of being able to cope. Maybe if it was the historic Barcelona sides, ironically, when Messi was a part of, when Xavi and all them man there were in their prime, or maybe even the Barcelona of 2015 or whatever is MSN, maybe they could have coped with it. But Barcelona, even with Messi, have underperformed. Your best player's gone. That's going to harm the league as well because you've lost Ronaldo, you've lost Messi. Man, I'm not trying to see Memphis Depay against Ceballos and Odegaard and them things there in El Clasico. It's not quite the same. Shirts, shirts, because Messi is one of those players. Obviously Barcelona have lost shirts, the league are going to lose money, and that's what makes me think they'll try everything to make this not happen, because we'll speak about it in a sec, but the paragraph released on Barcelona is kind of saying, it's you lot's fault why the guy's going. They're losing demand, they're losing, the league is still going to get views, but they're losing significant views if Messi moves. Barcelona, La Liga, Spanish, it's not good for Spanish football at all, the marketability of the league goes with Messi. Let's be real. Hella shirts are not being sold with Messi. And what you lose a lot of just interest, casual fans, diehard football fans, just Messi fans, because let's be real, as much as football fans are super fans and diehards and stuff, like basketball, there's certain players that it's just fact. Certain fans are fans of the players. There's probably hella Lionel Messi fans, not necessarily Barca fans. Do you get it? Messi's one of them, Pogba's one of them, Ozil's one of them, Neymar's one of them. So you're losing a bag of them, and all that matters is on the footballing field, but you've got to consider social media, all these things in today's day and age, and Barcelona's still Barcelona, but it's an L. And it's crazy, it's absolutely crazy. I did picture him leaving one day, but I pictured it at least 35. He'll go, he's always spoke of going to Inter Milan, or he'll go and play in Argentina, or he might even try the MLS thing. But I would have thought where European football, Messi's there. Cue the Barcelona rumours, and man said Barca, the PSG rumours, the City rumours, even Inter Milan rumours, and apparently, Man City and PSG, when Messi first said he was leaving, allegedly, not that he said he's leaving this time, they went around things and saw if they could do it and make it happen, you know. Again, maybe City are upset that 10 shirt has been given now. Maybe Kane's a bit scared, you know, them things there. Everyone's going to have their pop at him, innit, you know. Arsenal, I want you lot to have your pop at him, you know. Yeah, you could, if you want a real challenge, come and play in the same team as Kolasinac and El Nene and them things there. Come and prove you're the best ever. You know, I play for Wrongans. So, yeah, Messi, you're a great player. Can you do it on a cold Sunday morning at Enfield playing fields? If you can, Wrongans, shout Toby or Reese or Marius or H. Them and there will get the contract done. But on a serious note, it's an L. Everyone's going to throw their hat into the ring, you know. Chelsea are going to throw their hat into the ring, in my opinion. PSG, City, them clubs, they're going to, you know, United are probably listening. But all of these clubs they're probably scared because they could be potentially being used in these shenanigans. Like if I'm PSG and Man City, I'd think, yeah, you know what, we did a lot of stress testing, seeing the feasibility of this move, seeing what needs to happen. You know, even if it did happen, I know FFP's been relaxed, but you know, if City bring in Messi, they need to let people go. PSG, you probably need to let Mbappe go this season and send him to Madrid or do something. Not that if I'm Mbappe, I want to leave, because what a team that would be. You've got Pochettino who can do the coaching thing. You've got Neymar. You've got Ramos. You'd have Messi. You know, there's talk of Paul Pogba, which again, that could complicate things. You know, this could have knock-on effects for many people. I still think Kane will get his move, but if City say they're going for Messi, can City get Messi and Kane? Can City get Messi and Kane? I don't actually know that. For what it's worth, it would be great. I would force the boat out, you know. Whoever gets him is laughing. Personally, my opinion is regardless of what's been happening, I do think he'll come to an agreement with Barcelona, but I think he'll go to PSG. Either way, it's a sad thing, and it's not something, you know, he broke the internet, really, you know. The website crashed, allegedly. For what it's worth, though, apparently Lionel Messi not staying at FC Barcelona, despite club and player reaching an agreement and their clear intention to sign a new contract today. This cannot happen because of financial and structural obstacles. Despite FC Barcelona and Messi having reached an agreement and the clear intention of both parties to sign a new contract today, this cannot happen because of the Spanish La Liga regulations on player registrations. As a result of this, Messi shall not be playing on at Barcelona. Both parties deeply regret that the wishes of the player and the club ultimately will not be fulfilled. So yeah, the best player ever for the next couple of weeks could potentially be a free agent, and he already stood to miss significant part of the start of the season if things were to happen. FC Barcelona wholeheartedly express its gratitude to the player for his contribution to the club and wishes him all the best for the future in his personal and professional life. You know, there is another trail of thought that Messi and Barca could be using this to put pressure on the league, because what do you see there? We wanted this to happen. He wanted to stay. He did not allegedly want to leave, you know. But because of your regulations, Barcelona have lost a player, and you're seeing grown men weeping. Now, while I understand how it feels, you know, that's a bit mad still. But it's an L, you know. It's an absolute L. To sit here and say he lost Lionel Messi is further confirmation for Barcelona that they've crept. Sorry, people. That's Sky Sports. Further confirmation, as I was saying, that they've they've just swept further and further away from their footballing principles, and it's been coming. There's a lot of rumours Messi was unhappy about, you know, not signing Christian Romeo, who looks dead set to go Spurs. I don't know any of that, people, but it's an absolute Mazzolini, man, you know. FC Barcelona wishes to express its surprise at an agreement driven by La Liga. Oh, sorry, people, that's something else. So, yeah, on that topic as well, you know, obviously, I'm sure you've all seen... there's been certain things coming out with La Liga and all these sort of things. Apparently, Real Madrid have condemned it. In fact, let me go on Real Madrid's website, you know, because they're not happy with any of it, allegedly, you know. As you can see here, people, let me scroll all the way down. Official announcement. As you lot know, CVC Capital Partners was allegedly injecting money into Spanish clubs. Real Madrid are not happy with it, as they said, in the light of the announcement of an agreement between La Liga and CFC Capital Partners, Real Madrid states the following. This agreement was reached without the involvement or knowledge of Real Madrid, and today, for the first time, La Liga has given us limited access to the terms of the agreement. The clubs have signed over their audio-visual rights exclusively for their sale on a competitive basis for a period of 3 years. This agreement, by the way, of a misleading structure, expropriates, I can't say that word, 10.95% of the club's audio-visual rights for the next 50 years in breach of law. The negotiations was carried out without competitive proceedings, and the financial conditions agreed by CFC Capital Partners give them annual returns of over 20%. This opportunistic fund is the same which tried and failed to reach similar agreements with Italian and German leagues. Real Madrid cannot support a venture which hands the future of 42 Premier and Segunda division clubs over to a group of investors, not to mention the future of those clubs who qualify over the next 50 years. Real Madrid will convene the Assembly of Representative Members to debate the agreement and discuss the significant loss of equity unprecedented in our 119-year history. So Real Madrid are not happy with it. I think I've got Barcelona's statement as well. FC Barcelona wishes to express its surprise at an agreement driven by La Liga in which the team's opinions, including those of FC Barcelona, have not been taken into account. There's not been a presentation of options offered by other competitors in order to evaluate the pros and cons in a post-pandemic situation in which there are still many questions that are left unanswered. So again, La Liga's moving mad. They've got to deal with that. They've got to deal with a best player leaving. The clubs, Real Madrid's finances aren't in the best of states. Neither is Barcelona, in terms of bringing in players and things. So Spanish league, boy, you're already getting eclipsed by Bundesliga now. Something needs to give, something needs to give. And to go back over the Messi thing, people, as I said, Barca in trouble. I just got some bullet points. Barca in trouble, key player gone. What does this mean for La Liga if they lose their flag bearer? As I said, where does he sign for next? PSG, City. Does he stay at Barcelona regardless of this? Could they have, foresaw this sort of thing happening, because it was rumbling on before this was announced. I do think he could reach a new agreement over a salary cut again, to further help them, but I would feel I'm a bit messed around, because I'm going to miss the start of the season in a World Cup year as well, and I'm getting on a bit. Every season counts more because I'm not 21-year-old Messi anymore. As a fan of football, I can still remember Messi as a fresh-faced baby. I still remember before he even had the Adidas sponsorship when he was wearing the Nike Tiempos and things, but we said the same about Ronaldo. Time catches up with everyone, man. Messi's not going to be here forever anymore. He's no longer the future of football, For me, he's the future, past and present, but he's no longer the future. So you're messing the man about. You're actually hearing Barcelona have to run a similar wage structure to that of Aston Villa and Leicester. With respect to them, it speaks volumes that one of Europe's biggest powerhouses has to kind of deal with that sort of thing. For me, as I said, people, it's a sad day for football, because it's another confirmation that a glorious club like Barcelona have moved further and further away from their footballing principles. And as we know, this is, Barcelona have been spending like there's no tomorrow, like, a rainy day won't come, not to criticize Griezmann, but Griezmann, Dembele, Coutinho, big money signings, not really getting bang for your buck historically, signing a lot of mediocre players and then selling them. How many years have I sat here on a podcast and stuff and like that and said, for a great team like Barcelona, they do some dodgy business. Fair enough, big money signings don't work, but they sign some dodgy players, then they, and all of these sort of things. It's a bit mad, you sign people like Braithwaite, you can't sell them, it's not making sense. So we'll have to see exactly what happens, people. We'll have to see. For what it's worth, though, I do think something will happen, but we'll have to see, man. Away from that, on a rather sad note as well, I'm sure you've all seen, or better yet, it's been deleted. The Juventus woman's account posted a tweet where, I don't want to, not to take the mick or nothing, but, they were holding a code, and then if you pull your eye, I'm not telling you to do this, but obviously if you pull both sides of your eyes, like pull your eye, and it looks, and it makes your eye look a bit funny, and people use that sort of thing, or have used that historically to mock, is it East Asian or is it South Asian? I'm not actually sure on what side China and Japan and them sort of nations are, but primarily to mock that side of Asia. Now, Juventus have denounced it. I'm not going to lie, it's not like you can initially tell that they're doing that. And but at the same time, you shouldn't be doing that. What's said. How that's used to mock people. How when you've got a global footballing fan base like Juventus, and definitely since Cristiano Ronaldo signed, regardless if it's man's or woman, don't take the chance, because you might say you're not racist and things like that. It doesn't look good. And like I said, there's probably a hell of a lot of Juventus fans from that region, and you can't take that sort of risk. you know, to condemn racism, I don't think I need to say it to you lot, because if you're listening to this, you clearly do, innit? You know, racism has no place in football. You know, sometimes I do believe racism against Asians is not taken seriously, in my opinion. I don't think racism is taken seriously anyways, or it wouldn't be a thing, definitely in football. But I think it is brushed under the carpet a lot when it comes to Asians as well. I cannot lie. And, you know, to Juventus twats for that, innit? Like, I don't really, anyone with a sheer ounce of integrity knows how stupid it was. And like I said, if you felt any sort of way, all I can say is I hope I hope you find the strength in your heart to not let it faze you, man, because I know how degrading racism can feel, especially when you sit down and you deep what's been said or anything like that. So yeah, away from that sort of stuff, people, as I said, we spoke about Lionel Messi, we spoke about La Liga club struggling for peas. Jack Grealish, you know, 100 million, 6-year deal, number 10, signs for Manchester City has finally been done, you know. Before I carry on, big up Aston Villa, because, you know, as an Arsenal fan, right, I don't see clarity. I don't know what clarity is, you know. I think everybody talks in riddles, everybody plays little games, everybody says one thing then does another. And, you know, Villa are no different. They're a football club. They have to tell little white lies and do things. But you see, when their CEO is coming out and giving the fans clarity, whether they want Grealish to go or not, accepting that there's a Champions League clause in his deal, the man kind of said he wanted to go already. So we actively started planning to, you know, kind of spend the money we was going to get already. It became a case of let's get the best fee and let's, you know, pattern off the best team so that we do not get in. You know, you're not going to replace Grealish, innit? You know, I love Leon Bailey. I love Buendia. You know, I think they're two good signings. Ings is a signing. But, you know, I'm sure Villa fans would send all back to sender if it meant Grealish is staying. Typically, like you see with these players, you have to sign a couple. In the long term, I'm not going to say it can help Villa, because I don't know that, because I do think on one hand, you know, the signings they've made, Bailey's going to be a good addition. Danny Ings is a good addition. You know, Buendia is an exciting addition, as they all are. I think it makes them a bit all-rounded. And like you saw last season, they do, as you would, someone like Grealish, you would over-rely on him. And when he's injured, there's a bit of a wobble. So if you're in theory, you know, if you're able to stop being as reliant on one player, you're going to be a better team, aren't you, people? But do I think Grealish, you know, selling Grealish and doing the business they done gets them closer to their Champions League? Of course not. Or qualifying for the Champions League, but it could be worse. You know, Arsenal would have made a mess with this. What I like with it, it's been done, and obviously it's different with Kane and Grealish. You know, there's more than just a gentleman's agreement. There's stuff in writing. You know, Grealish trained. You know, everything was done in a sort of, I'm not going to say respectful manner, because I wouldn't say Kane has been disrespectful necessarily, more than the club's done to him. But it was kind of done in a nice way. Bridges aren't burnt. Personally, I think Grealish will return to Villa when the City thing's done. Grealish deserves it. You know, he deserves it. He's one of the best players in the league. With respect to Villa, you're not one of the best teams in the league. City are. And a lot of people are saying, does he make them better? For me, he does. Not significantly, in a sense of, you know, to only improve that Barca, that City team significantly. You've got to, for me, you've got to see Messi. You've got to see Neymar. You've got to see them sort of guys. Kane is an exception on the basis of they don't have a recognised striker, I would say. A recognised striker significantly improves them. But Grealish makes them stronger, because for me, forget the team for a sec. Grealish is going to start thinking, everything Grealish thought he knew about football is going to change under Pep Guardiola. You're going to hear the way Grealish talks about football. Same way you saw it change with Kevin. You're going to see him here. He's going to speak like a little manager now. You know, he's a great footballer, but it doesn't matter. You being a great footballer is the basics for getting in City. You know, he could play as an A. You know, I could see him playing in that where Gundogan used to play before doing the more expansive thing on the City. He could play there. He could play on the left. He could play in the 10. He could play in a withdrawn role. It wouldn't go beyond me that, you know, he'll get his time to play as a false striker. Fantastic options between, you know, Sterling, Foden, Grealish, Kevin, Gundogan, Rodri, Fernandinho's there, you know, Gab Jesus is lurking, on paper Mahrez is lurking, on paper Bernardo Silva is lurking. There's hella players. You do think, you know, out of Gab Jesus, Mahrez and Bernardo, at least one of the three, I'd say maybe two of the three are departing. You know, you hear a lot about Bernardo. For me, if I'm Gab Jesus, you know, I'm second fiddle as a striker. Kevin, Sterling, Gundogan, they might all play up front ahead of me. Talk of Harry Kane, you know, coming in, I might need to keep it moving and go somewhere else. You know, it's a great team. I think, you know, Grealish will thrive because he deserves to be playing Champions League and things like that. He'll be playing with better players, and I think, you know, the link-up play with the Sterlings, the Fodens, the Kanes when he signs and things like that will be even better. You know, I think because he's not that he's the only danger man at Villa, but there's multiple ones. He'll enjoy it, you know. He'll be used to his team being on the front foot a bit more. I think, you know, it shouldn't. You know, because if this is any other country, all that matters is you're doing the business. It doesn't matter what team you play for. You know, Grealish had a great Euros by his own standards in what he could play. Let's be real, I don't think Southgate is fully convinced on him. Playing for City, playing in the Champions League, playing for a bigger club, I think he would undoubtedly see that, I have to stop messing him about now. It's not Villa and England internationals, Manchester City and England international. You need to be using, man, and utilising him properly because, you know, for all the hype Foden got with the Euros, Grealish was that guy. And I'm keen to see how Foden and Grealish link up. It's ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. You know, it's long for any defender. I'm happy that, you know, the sad thing is in the league, you've got to play these lot twice, innit? We're getting it out of the way within the first 3-4 weeks of the season. So at least we get one of them out. We go to the Etihad, we get our beat down, and then we focus on the Emirates, you know. I don't know if they'll go for Harry Kane as well, but they should. And you'd imagine Harry Kane's move eclipse this one as well in terms of a fee. It's going to, you know, Grealish deserves the move. I'm happy for him. He's one of my favourite non-Arsenal players in the league. You can't help but like him, the way he carries on. You know, the way he stands up, you know, he's not someone that's going to be talking about, you know, the Black Lives Matter and all them things all the time, but he stands for what he believes in. He's a lad, man. He's a cool guy. And, you know, on and off the field, it's going to be lit at City, at them Manchester clubs, because you got what? If on a night out, you got what? Grealish, Sterling, you know. It's a Mazza Foden lurking now. You holler them Man United boys. Lingard might not go on loan. He might stay. You got Rashford. You got Sancho. You got a bunch of them. Shouts on a couple of the Liverpudlian lads. They could circle. So on and off the field, there's going to be a lot of joy, I feel, for Grealish, and he'll love it. And, you know, this is the significant, not that it's this only significant step, but this is now, it's not a boy becoming a man because he is a man, but he's leaving his boyhood club, all he's known, big fish in a small pond, relatively, a humble big fish in a small pond. Now at City, his technical ability don't mean nothing. That's what got you here. You're a good player, so you're here. You know, can you get goals? Can you get assists? Can you start dictating the tempo of the game? Is your link-up play spot on? Can you display extreme consistencies? Because reality is, you know, such is life at City. Big money signing, 6-year deal. Such is City. If you're not doing the business, you could be on the bench. It's as simple as that. Sterling was the guy, then was written off, then was back in. And there's been many other similar examples of that, people. You know, Foden took a while to get in, and then he, you know, no one could get the shirt off him. And you look at that left wing, bro, you could have, I don't think Grealish will play there, but for example, that's just the first thing in my mind. You've got Foden, Sterling, Grealish, you got Mahrez, all the man there can play there. In the 10, everyone can play there. In the pivot, everyone can play there. You know, it's going to be a mazza. To be fair to you, City are competing on multiple fronts, so there's an opportunity. You know, I remember when Grealish lost an FA Cup final against Arsenal. He might be part of a team that's able to go all the way, sort of thing. In that regards, you know, they might just. And like I said, man, he's going to go from strength to strength. It's a scary signing. It's a very scary signing what's going on, especially if they grab Kane as well. I'm sure there's 1-2 other bits that they want to do. We'll have to see. Obviously, I keep forgetting they even got Ferran Torres. City's scary, man. My boy and Rant said when I was on his show, he's like, they think City can dominate for 20 years. I can't see that far into the future in general, but how can you look past it? Because spending is one thing, but you got Pep. You've got the system, you know, they've got the monopoly where it's the City group and multiple clubs. They've got some of the best scouts and them thing there. Like, boy, like, I don't know what to say, people, really and truly. But it is what it is. Shout out to Jack Grealish for what it's worth for signing for Manchester City. You know, it's the biggest deal in British history, people. The 25-year-old has joined on a 6-year deal. As I said, they activated his £100 million release clause, which was, you know, more than just a gentleman's agreement if you're Harry Kane. You know, he leaves after giving eight seasons of service to Villa, 213 appearances and 32 goals. So, obviously, he's been playing since he was a young man, 18, and that you can't read too much into the goals, but he's going to have to score a lot. He's going to have to assist, and it's a brave move for him in a World Cup year, because if it does go wrong and you're not playing, are you going to get called up for England? I back you to, but Southgate's on BS. It's a move that I think can boost his commercial chances, of course. You know, he's going to earn a lot more money. Through playing for City, you're going to earn a lot more. His trophy trophies are going to get there. And for me, Southgate's going to have to take you in properly because you're playing in the Champions League. Obviously, quote unquote, you hopefully making the difference for a team that's going to win the league and things. I say hopefully because I got no beef with City, you know. I got no beef with United. I got come away from the banter and the rivalry. I have nothing but respect for the football club. Chelsea, kind of the same, but they're our rivals, you know. I got no beef with City. I don't really know no City fans. I don't mind City's dominance, even though it's not Arsenal. If I had to pick a team, I don't mind City. It's definitely better than Spurs. You lot do your thing, innit? Because there's no skin off my nose. So it is what it is. And also, number 10's a big shirt anyways, which Grealish will work. Like, Grealish has the mentality and the temperament as well as the ability, but he's taking Sergio Aguero's, and that's a City legend, you know. You know, on the move anyways, Grealish said, I am incredibly happy to have joined Manchester City. City are the best team in the country with a manager to be considered the best in the world. It's a dream come true to be part of this group. Over the past 10 seasons, they have won major trophies consistently. Pep coming here is taking them to the next level, and the football this team plays is the most exciting in Europe. To play for Pep and learn from him is going to be special, and it's something any top footballer would want. Exactly. The facilities are amazing. I honestly can't wait to get started, meet everyone, and get playing. You know, he was praised by the chairman of City. I'm not going to keep going on with that. You know, and to be fair, Villa did what they needed to do, man. You know, he had a 4-year deal. They got top money. It is what it is. For me, they're just going to miss away from his ability. Like, the temperament. He wanted to make the difference. He said it was obviously a difficult few months because I've been an Aston Villa fan for my whole life. But when I spoke to the manager here, you see what type of players they've got here. In the end, it was something I could not say no to. I am absolutely delighted to be here. So, again, we knew when he went off to the Euros, he was going to get a move completed after the Euros. There's a bunch of City players there. You know, there was probably a lot of indirect talks between City and Grealish's camp all season. Further confirmed by the City boys. We know he's got a good relationship with Phil Foden, considers him his big bro, his little bro. He's cool with Sterling, the Walkers and them man there he's good with, and it's a good move for him, man. Hopefully Maddison can come to Arsenal now. Scrolling away from it, Christian Pucelo, you know, spoke to fans directly to explain the circumstances. If you don't know, he's the chief executive of Aston Villa. And for me, I can't help but praise Villa. You know, Villa are doing better business than us. They're showing more forward-thinking nature than us, like many clubs. And for me, basic clarity, man. You know how refreshing it must be for a Villa fan to just hear all that clarity, even if you didn't. You know, and I think when fans remove the emotion and maybe even criticising Villa for selling Grealish, not that I believe you can, because it is what it is, you know. They've received 100 million record fee for an academy prospect who has played 8 seasons for them. Let's have a bit of sense here now. You get it, you know. It's mad, you know. Apparently, a number of clubs expressed an interest after the Euros, but all offers were well below the release clause. So City play the release clause, they get their man in it. Yeah, man. It was a highly emotional moment when he finally told me his decision, leaving me in no doubt how hard it had been for him to leave our club, which he had joined since when he was 6 years of age. Ultimately, he said it boiled down to wanting to play Champions League football. Now, and he deserves it. You're 25, you're playing good. You know, like I said, you want to test yourself at the elite level, not once a week in the league. So you're around. You have to compete to play every week to show that you need to be part of these trophies. For me as well, this will make Southgate take you in properly for England and stop messing you about and stuff like that. Because if you're doing it in the champs, you're doing it for City, the best team in the league, and if they're typically fighting for the league, he can't be little manning you, bringing you on and then taking you off, giving you these little 5 minutes, talking about it unbalances the side and all of these sort of things. And then obviously, maybe Southgate will finally recognise that you can be a bit flexible with Foden and Grealish when you see, well, Grealish is going to play all over the place. 8, 10, left wing, maybe even false 9. Well, the much as messed as City is, he'll probably play one game up front, score a hat-trick, and then he'll play left-back. Such is life, people. So it's going to be a big sided. And obviously, look at the wealth of attackers, man. Bearing in mind, only 3 players can play, 4 if you include the 10, you know. Grealish, Sterling, Foden, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres. Now, a couple of them names can obviously play in the pivot. And also, what people forget with Grealish, why I think he's going to be amazing, you know, he wins a lot of fouls, But people forget he presses quite well. He defends quite well. There are things that Pep demands. You can't be in that team if you're not doing the pressing thing. And I'm sure he was up there for Prem stats when he was at Villa, so he must rank quite high in and among his City teammates. I don't have them to hand, people. If you look at in the Prem, you know, he ranks first for fouls won, second for assists, second for chances created, duels won, he's won 6, touches in the opposition box, he ranks 8th out of how many, 25 man squads, 25 times 20, there's 20 Premier League teams in it, bro. I ain't got the maths, but it's a mazza, in it, how many players there are. And when you look at it, he's won, he wins duels across the pitch, he recovers possession in the final third, he ranks 6th and 9th per 90 minutes respectively across last season for such, bearing in mind it was an injury hit season for him, people. He wins a lot of fouls as well, which 22 more than any other player, as I said, people. So he's gonna be he's gonna be a crazy footballer. Obviously, I would hope if I'm City, he becomes the long-term Kevin De Bruyne. If I'm real, and for me, the prospect of seeing Phil, we can't forget Phil Foden is only gonna rise in importance. Foden signed for 100 million, and what they could do for the next couple of years, and how because eventually. Kevin, these players, they're very much here for the present. I'm keen to see the leaders of the new school, and I think Grealish and Foden will be at the forefront of that. Obviously, most carries ending with a chance created, Grealish is there, so being that raw ability to carry the ball. And he's made history, man. It must be a special moment to be the most expensive acquisition by an English club, after playing in your first international tournament and things like that, Spare a thought for Spurs. They were buckling over once upon a time. Villa wanted 25 million for Grealish. Psh. The man there. Allegedly, Chelsea have held positive Lukaku talks. We hear allegedly that move is moving ever closer and closer and closer to potentially being done, people. He's open to doing it. But allegedly, you hear there could be a U-turn, people. Which could obviously, I don't know. I think when a move gets to being done like this, and Messi, between Messi's deal coming out, that it's not being renewed, you see this. When a move typically gets towards the final stages, you see people start saying it might collapse and all of this because they don't want to sell Lukaku. We know they want to sell Lautaro Martinez more than Lukaku, but I hear that. But at the end of the day, Lukaku's actually got an offer on the table, received for him. Lautaro Martinez hasn't. If you need peas, you can only deal with what's in front of you, not what might happen. So we'll have to see exactly how that one develops, and specifically how that one there develops, people. It is what it is in that regards. If we look at Harry Kane, people, as we know, is still nothing is decided with him. You'd imagine with Grealish now being confirmed, excluding the fact that City might have other business, they can now start being a bit more aggressive for Harry Kane. Now that's going to be a trickier move because Daniel Levy, a gentleman's agreement, means nothing, especially with Levy. He's tied himself down to a big year deal. Spurs, with Villa, there was I'm sure there was an acceptance among Villa fans that they've probably done well to hold on to him for historically as long as they have. For Spurs, it's a bit uglier, and it's going to come down to how bad do they want it. Maybe with Grealish, they think, everybody, the goals are spread around, we can make it happen. I still think they need to recognise number 9, because as much as they are innovative, you get into situations like the Champions League final where football needs to go back to basics. They needed a striker to score goals, sort of thing. Nuno Espirito Santo has allegedly said he has not spoken to Harry Kane, however, people. I expect to speak with Kane soon. I haven't had the chance yet. It's not that I don't want to comment. What I believe is all this issue in relation to everything should be discussed internally among us. Let's try to avoid any kind of public argument or discussion about it. We have to focus on what is important, solve the situation between us, bro. What are you saying? You don't Harry Kane don't answer unknown numbers and numbers he don't have already. I hear it, man. He's not trying to have a conversation with Nuno. We solved the situation internally with the club speaking and trying to reach a better solution and conclusion to the situation. All of pre-season has been hard for every club. It's different, I know, but the absence of a lot of players due to international duty has made it hard for a lot of managers, people. We'll have to see what he means by that regard. That seems like a bit of speaking in ones and twos and, A's and B's and, a bit of just not really saying anything, really and truly. Apparently, VAR won't penalise trivial things in the Premier League next season, allegedly. The use of VAR will be dialed back in the new Premier League season, people, with officials told not to penalise trivial things, as you saw with Raheem Sterling being awarded a penalty, for example. in the Euros, people. So again, I guess that means, we're not going to see reviews, and the lines are still going to get blurred. We're still going to be confused. We're going to see one foul given in one game and the exact thing happen in, we might see that happen at 12:30 or 12 o'clock kickoff. The 3 p.m.s or the 5:30s, the same thing happens. It's not given, and we're going to be wheeled out. If you're watching it on TV, a retired referee, they're going to start confusing people. Personally, I'm a bit cynical. I don't think the Premier League want to solve this, because I might be a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think they want integrity and fair game, because the Premier League, what do you love about it? The fact that, Man City with Grealish could go and smack up a team on his debut 5-6-0, and then they might lose to a promoted Brentford 2-1. That's the beauty of it. But on that, we like the talking points. It drives engagements. It gets TV channels speaking. It gets everybody speaking about the Premier League. I think that's why they won't fix it, because they don't want a fair game. They want trivial things. They want drama. They want talking points. They want match of the day discussing it. That's how I feel, because they keep blurring the lines personally. That's just my opinion. Moving away from that, though, and as you've seen, people, we've spoken about quite a lot of stuff, so we can wrap this up by just quickly going through some other transfer news, people, if there is any, the rumours and that. Let me bring up the gossip columns and them things there, where obviously we know Lukaku and Kane, and obviously Messi's going to be linked with here, there, and everywhere. It's a bit of a madness, and I'm actually having to scroll past. There's a lot of Messi stuff, man. As you lot know, people, apparently Lukaku's proposed move back to Chelsea could be about to stall, because the Inter Milan chairman, Steven Zag, wants to take his time before deciding whether he wants to sell the 28-year-old. Apparently Chelsea are expected to bring him back by the weekend, 95 million plus add-ons. United remain keen on signing Kieran Trippier, but Atletico are refusing to budge on their 34 million asking price. Apparently Varane has arrived in England to finalise his move to the red half of Manchester. Arsenal have made a bid of about 17 million for Lazio striker Joaquin Correa. I'm not sure on that. Not sure I want that. Southampton have inquired about signing Tammy Abraham from Chelsea on loan. Obviously, they lost Danny Ings and they need to look at that. Allegedly, sadly, Arsenal are plotting a double move for, Sheffield United pair Aaron Ramsdale and Sander Berge. Apparently, 50 million will not be enough to land them with banter. Our allegedly is still holding out for a move. Sadly, Wesley Fofana suffered a broken leg against Villarreal in a friendly game. So allegedly, Leicester City, that is, are looking for another centre-half, people. Roma have been linked with Fulham's Anguissa. Crystal Palace are in advanced talks over a deal to sign Adam Armstrong. You heard that same thing with Southampton as well, people, and Norwich. That would be a good signing. And like Ivan Toney, he was one of them that you feel if their teams didn't get promoted, like Blackburn, they'd probably move and someone might try their luck to find their next Ollie Watkins and all of these sort of things, people. So there's not much in the transfer world. I definitely would like to see a bit more where Arsenal's concerned. But it is what it is in that regards. As I said, we spoke about Lionel Messi, we spoke about Grealish, we spoke about Lukaku, we spoke about VAR, we spoke about the Liga thing, we spoke about Harry Kane. It's, this 30 odd minutes has flown by, people, and as I always say, I'm really appreciative that you lot taking my content in all aspects, the podcast, which even when I put it on YouTube, you always get the comments like, where's your face, DJ? Like, come on now. So yeah, as I said, obviously if you don't know, I typically go live at 11:30 a.m. on YouTube. So I imagine my YouTube peeps are already aware of that and bracing themselves for that one. But if you don't, make sure you're there. As I said, I'm starting to move my content to Twitch and take Twitch very seriously. So please make sure you're supporting the thing. You're following me on Twitch and you're subscribing. Subscribe via Amazon Prime. You get a free subscription and you also get ad free. So yeah, Deluded Gooner. Make sure you're taking that in on Twitch. Obviously, DG Podcast. Monday/Tuesdays, Fridays. When the Premier League gets back, we'll probably move towards a Monday again. But Tuesday next week, folks, we're there again. So yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, make sure you're there. I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody who, even though I've not really got much motivation to put myself forward, but the Football Blacklist Awards, I appreciate everybody who's quote unquote nominated me, and the Football Content Awards, I appreciate everyone who's quote unquote nominated me. I think both of these things are stitch ups, and it's just industry folk voting for their brethrens and all of these sort of things, but it is what it is in that regards, man. So yeah, man. On that note, people, enjoy what's left of your Friday. I hope you've all had a good week, people. DG, I'm out. Thank you for listening to the DG podcast. Bow.